And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OC as we have returned. We have returned with the semifinals of the OlimoLeague January finals here. The monthly kind of finale here to the month of January. We have our top four. We have our top four players. We have two Protoss. We have two Terran. We have herO, Cure, Clem, and Zaun. And we're here to find out who will make it on to those grand finals. Let's go. We're going to be jumping into our first series here tonight. As a reminder, the first map is predetermined, so both semifinals they will begin on the same map, and then losers pick from there on after. Game 1, loading into El Dorado. Let's go. We're going to be loading into El Dorado here, and we'll see how this story does begin. We'll see who can make it to those grand finals, as we have a very interesting rematch ahead of us here. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner of El Dorado, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran. For Team Liquid, it is Cure. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss for Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is herO. Here we go. Again, we have seen these two face off many times over the past month, over the past 2 months even, during the off-season of EPT. herO and Cure even have been very active when it comes to these online events, and they do trade back and forth here. Coming into this, herO is favored to make a deep run. Again, herO, he's the best Protoss in all of South Korea, arguably the best Protoss player in the world, at least top 2 alongside Max. We'll see if he can be stopped there. We'll see if Cure can deny and can actually deny the TVP finals, or the PvP finals even, deny herO and advance on instead. Let's go. Of course, the other favorite player is Clem. You know, it's foretold for herO and Clem to face off. Can they be stopped? We can talk about Zaun later. There is definitely a lot to talk about, because that's also a big rematch. We will get there. For now, we're going to be settling in. We do have our double gas opener, double gas into a faster factory. Meanwhile, we have our standard gate into cyber core into expansion from herO. Let's go. So settling into our openers again. Cure, with this double gas opener, he can go into a faster Banshee production. He can go into faster Cyclones, into a tank drop as well. We saw that last game, Clem did embrace this and go into a more committed Widowmine drop, if you recall, with a faster medevac into Widowmine into Marines. He was very successful when it came to his drop, when it came to his aggression. We'll see what Cure can piece together. We'll see what he can bring to the table. You know, herO does take control of the Zanaga. Does take control. And regardless of what comes his way, we'll see if herO can spot it at a time. So now it is going to be Reactored Reaper. Okay. We have additional Reapers on the way. Getting up to 2, soon to be potentially up to 4. Cure can invest into those Hellions. CC going to be on the low ground. And we have our tech of choice. A bold move here out of herO, going to be opening up not Twilight Council into Stargate instead. Interesting. Stargate opener out of herO. With this, we can open up Oracle, we can open up Phoenixes. This is a little bit dangerous here. You are going to be vulnerable to early game aggression. That is typically why we don't see Stargate play on smaller maps. But herO, he does throw caution to the wind. He doesn't care. He's herO. Does open up Stargate nonetheless. This is considered unsafe to open Stargate on a map like El Dorado, but okay. Have our attention. Meanwhile, we do see that Cure, he's committing to extra Reapers, so continues with Reactored Reaper and a Hellion production as well. And the goal here should be to clean up these adepts and to try to get into the mineral line. We'll see if Cure can. Oh, as one Reaper goes down, nice catch from herO. Takes down the first Reaper. As the army is amassing, now significantly weaker. Adepts, they threaten the shade. They commit. Oh, he does commit in. Was this worth it though? Takes down another Reaper, but he's going to be cleaned up. Can he get a third Reaper? Alas, it's not going to happen. Is shut down, and now suddenly Cure has gained map control. He's moving out across the map. Here, he has to get the hell out of here. Does pull away, opening up Oracle into a second Oracle. And does he harass, or does he turn around to shut down the army? As Cure is pushing. Here, he ignores. Oh, turns around. Does turn back around. Chases down the Reapers. He gets 1, and he should get 2. 2 Reapers do fall. Nice cleanup. Cure behind this, getting to his 1-1-1 setup. Tech labs are ready. From here, Cyclone production underway. Again, he's now aware of the oracles. He needs that anti-air. Hellions, they do get into the mineral line. And they get not much damage here. The probes, they pull away in time. Workers, they survive. Hero defense. Does defend well. Now, I was curious if, despite the fact that we had the tech lab because of the scouts, I was curious if Cure was still going to go for a Viking. The answer is no. So it's going to be Cyclone into Banshee. Banshees have a lot of potential for damage here as long as they can avoid those Phoenixes. So, risky maneuver here by Cure. This can pop off. If this gets scattered, though, I can see this being shut down real fast, real quick. Oracles are on the way. Phoenix production behind this. As here he does rotate, and I believe here he has not scouted the main. He doesn't see the researching tech lab. Doesn't know. Doesn't know yet. Hero is in the dark. Now rotating over, setting up the stasis. Stasis traps are being thrown down. Tells poke in towards the main. He is zoned away. Gets revelation. There we go. He does confirm the researching tech lab. He knows. Does spot the tech lab. Phoenixes are amassing. Getting in position. And he's getting ready here for the Banshee defense. Likewise, he needs energy for those revelations as well. So here he races back home. Meanwhile, Cure building up on 2 bases. Extra maxes, embracing bio, no mech. eBay's on the way. And here he does saturate his own third. So building up. So far here's economy looking solid. Again, the pressure is on Cure to do something about said economy. Oh, he splits up his Banshees. Okay. One Banshee towards the south, the other towards the third. Shield batteries ready. At least at the third base. Banshee rocks up, doesn't get too much damage yet. Phoenixes, they respond. And they shut down the first Banshee, but here comes the second. Never mind. Banshee goes out. I assumed the second one was going to dive at the same time, but last doesn't quite commit. Cure, he does stay outside of the main base, and so far, no damage. So far, a better start for Hero. Now, there's still potential. If Hero's distracted, if there's a fight going on, if there's a main engagement, then maybe Cure can slip in and get some damage done. There's still potential. Still potential with that Banshee. As Hero's not being active. Behind this, Cure just building up his bio. Stim, combat shields. Once the upgrades do finish, he can dive in. Banshee does slip in towards that main, but there is a shield battery. Is that shield battery? Hero out of position. Delays the CC. And there's the recall. Does force a recall. But where's the Oracle? As the Oracles are still racing back. Big response here by Hero. He brings everything back home. Uh-oh. Does bring everything back. Shuts down the Banshee. And thankfully for Hero, he isn't punished. Hero's being active. He's being active. Revelation does land. Hero building up. Another delay on the CC. Can he force? He forces a cancel. Yeah, massive pick off. Curie's stuck on 2 bases. He's that much more committed. Ay. Again, it was a greedy maneuver here for Cure to go for the CC on location. It wasn't worth it. And now Hero, he's comfortable. He's now getting a 4th expansion. Storm is on the way. The Bay is almost done for Colossus. Currently, Hero, he's stuck on a purely gateway, Phoenix composition. But Curie doesn't commit. Curie, he's stuck in the center. Hero looking very comfortable. Stasis goes off, catching at the Cyclones. And another Stasis goes off as well. Curie has to get out. He has to get out of here. He cannot stick around. He barely has an army to work with. The Stasis traps are brutal. Another Revelation. These Cyclones they're about to break out. see hero's getting ready to just pounce on the army. Here he commits. Baits out of stasis. But Curie's playing with fire. He's he's playing with fire right now. Oh no. Has to be so careful. Here come the storms. A massive storm drill comes in. Does connect. One storm left. Takes out most of the marauders. But the Marines do survive. It was mainly storms and marauders. I spoke to you soon. Yeah, here on the Cyclones. Meanwhile, there's a sea of Widow Mines waiting for him. That's a lot of mines. No storms left. Here looking out position hero. I mean, with all these Widow Mines, the Sea of Zealots can't really get much done. That's how many Zealots? 35. Gee, 38. Mines just going up, baiting out, trying to force friendly fire. Yeah, mines on the Phoenixes, not on the Zealots. And hero, he can try to break through. Being forced back for now. Colossus does arrive. A very shaky or very scrappy fight. Locks down the army. Solid force fields. And the Marines, they get trapped. They can't fully engage. Oh, another storm popping off once again on Marauders, not on Marines. Here versus Aster. Hero survives. Getting on the mine shot off. And Hero down to one Phoenix. Oh no! Oh my god. Down to one. Here, he's maintaining himself, but again, still with a very cheap army, mainly Zealot heavy. Trying to incorporate more Colossus, more Storm. Going for a massive counterattack. Here, keeping up. Turning back around. Nice mine connection. A very nice Widow Mine. Meanwhile, Zealot made towards the main. Prism dropping off here at the natural as well. Zealot in the main base natural and the third. And here comes that main army. Slowly pushing forward. So far getting 9 SCVs. Takes down the main army as well. A nice hold position micro. And did I say 9 SCVs? 18 SCVs going down. The main army can't quite break through. Here he pulls away. And that's the damage he was hoping for. Here he trades out his Zealots for what? For workers, for the economy. And here he's falling behind. And given more time here, hero he can rebuild. He's got Disruptors on the way, more High Templar. He can reinforce and he can overwhelm. Oh. Getting a couple of feedbacks. Nice setup. Feedbacks the Ghost. Storms the main army, at least tries to. Get that storm off. Oh. So we're pulling away. Colossus gaining ground. We have a fourth Colossus in production, +3 alongside it. And here he should be able to break through. On the wide shot though. Ooh, massive connection on the High Templar. High Templar take a lot of hits. They're very low. Brutal storm. Finally, the storms I've been looking for. And massive storms on the bio. And Cure, his army crumbles. It just completely crumbles. Boys are being pulled into Colossus. GG gets called. And hero, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Hero, he will take a lead in the series. Again, a very intense back and forth. When it came to the first push, it could have gone either way. I'm referring to after the stasis traps ran out and Cure committed with just so many Widow Mines. I want to say he had like 8 to 10 Widow Mines with that main army. It was mainly against Zealots. We saw Hero bait out the mine shots, trying to force friendly fire. The storms were lackluster. We saw mainly storms on Marauders, not on the Marines. So the Marauders, they could weather the storm in more ways than one. And it was very close, very clutch. In the end, Hero did overwhelm and Hero takes the game. Hero does take a lead. That was merely only game 1, and as a reminder, this is a best of 5. Best of 5, not a best of 3, so plenty more to come. As we're loading into game 2, we're going to be loading into Ultra Love. as this is the Terran map of choice. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of UltraLove, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Weibo Gaming. It is herO. Okay. So we can open Void Ray? No, Void Rays are not really an opener for TVP, if that's what you're referring to. They don't really have their place in this matchup. I mean, I want to say the only scenario where you would see Void Rays here would be Proxy Void Ray, like Shield Battery Rush. But that's a very, very niche build, and we rarely see that nowadays. I think we saw it once in Neon Violet Square during the initial weeks of the patch, but just once. Unfortunately, Void Rays, they lack a little of mobility. They lack a little of the scouting potential that you would get from an Oracle or a Phoenix. And behind this, Cybercore. So just get into Cybercore, into expansion, standard opener out of herO. Likewise, economic opener out of Cure. Last game we saw double gas, this time Rax into CC on the low ground. But here he's here to delay. Probe has arrived. Does he throw down the pylon? We're now just rallying around the base. Forces down the second SCV. And now Cure can expand. Here we go. Here we go. As now we have a much more passive start. I say a passive start. Cure, he's going for a proxy. He's going for a proxy factory across the map. Interesting choice. I'm curious. Are we going proxy factory into proxy starport? This is very committed here by Cure. As I would imagine we're setting up for like a Hellion drop into the main. But it's going to take quite some time to really get going. Meanwhile, safe Twilight Council opener out of herO. Very safe. Twilight Council into Blink. Here we go. As, yep, it is going to be the proxy Hellion drop. Okay. Very committed. What's scary about this, if this doesn't do damage, the factory and starport production is going to be heavily delayed. The reason for this is because these buildings, they're going to be floating back home. They're going to be floating back home, so this has to get damage done here as we're banking up Hellions and banking up those Medivacs. For those that are curious, it takes 3 Hellions. It takes 3 Hellions to one-shot a worker. And because they do splash damage, of course, they can wreak havoc in the mineral line. They can do crippling damage. They can, but will they? That is the question. That is the question. We can see here he does throw down some spotter pylons towards the left-hand side. He's scouting towards the left as well, but he doesn't quite check on the right. He does check the expansion location, but doesn't check the fourth. Only the third. Only checks the third base. Thankfully, there's a spotter pylon. The pylon, when it finishes, will actually spot this. Is this within range? Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. It will at least spot the Hellions, but it might be too late anyway because here comes the Medivac. Medivac has arrived. Starport floats back home. Here comes the drop into the main. 3 Hellions. Stalkers, they try to respond. Probes are going to be going down. Gets 1 probe so far. Gets 2. 2 probe kills. Getting up to 5. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, 5 workers going down. Does lift, does boost the way, and the Hellions will survive. So far, nice trades here out of Cure. And he's following this up with Widow Mines. Widow Mines are amassing. Hellions race back home. Oh god, almost died. But Hellions, they do race back home, and we follow this up from a Hellion drop into a Widow Mine drop. Okay. There are layers. Layers to this build, layers to this aggression. The Medivac is very low, though. It's 1 volley. 1 volley away from going down from this group of Stalkers, so I am concerned that Q is going to try to commit. He's done well for himself, but all the Hellions, they get caught out. Hellions are cleaned up. Behind this, Cure is looking to expand. Getting his 3-1-1 setup though. 3-1-1 into Stim. And delayed third base. Thankfully here he does leave at least one Stalker to defend. As the factory is still just pumping out Widow Mines. So they dive into the main. They pick up a couple of Marines. Nice control out of hero. Does control well. Pulls away. Still waiting for that drop. Well, as here he does head towards the middle line, getting two more SCVs. Just barely. Barely gets two more. Rotating once again. Nice value here out of hero. Shades into the main. Behind this, hero is going for a very gateway heavy composition. Working towards charge. Getting another SCV. But getting to charge. Forger +1. Bays on the way for those Colossus. Hero still needs more time. And the Rax is still, sorry, the factory is still floating back home. Now again, this is risky. Curie is going to set up here towards the right hand side. The reason for this is because, as we mentioned, otherwise it would just take too much time out of the factory where it's just not producing anything. So now he just falls a little bit further back for the reactor to actually get some production going, to actually make something here from the factory. It's risky. We'll see if it survives. As the prisms will slip into the main. Prism slips in. We do force an overreaction. Now going for the warp in. Meanwhile, disruptive production has begun. Zeltay bust in. They target down the SCVs. They get one so far. They get two. Two SCV kills. Ooh, the full medevac goes down. Brutal catch. Hero gaining map control. Hero does move out. I believe here he doesn't spot the move out. Yeah, no observer. No observer in position. No scouting unit. He doesn't know. First disruptor has arrived. Here he's hunting for that War Prism. War Prism does make it out though. War Prism does get out. Meanwhile, here he spots the proxy. Oh my god. As the mine shot goes off and that prism is getting very low. Gets low, and we're just slowing down. We're just slowing things down. Hero getting a fourth base, Cure getting his third, building up their armies, taking up into splash damage with more Colossus, into more Disruptors. Cure likewise working towards Vikings and Ghosts, as the Ghost Academy is on the way. So we're going to take a moment here to take a breath. We're calming down. We're calming down. To have a lull. From here, he can take his gases, start working towards a second robo for double disruptor production. Still isn't there yet. As both player supplies are still comparable to each other. Hero poking in. Knocking down the tower. Spilled by time. Just locking Cure in. Cure into his bases. Barely does not get the turret. Clutch repair here out of Cure. Saves the turret. Pulls away. Hero getting a 5th expansion. As a Cure is still only on 3 bases. Is that just now the 4th CC? 4th CC being very late actually. 4th base is now starting here for Cure. Just now on the way. Both players will max out. And we'll see what the armies do look like here. So far, only 2 Colossus. Here he's not making a third. Oh, yeah, just not making a third. Getting to Disruptors. Second Robo's on the way. Both players still building up. If given enough breathing room, then herO, he could try to throw down like a fleet beacon and throw down like a Stargate and start working towards Sky Toss. But now they're very ground-centric as he goes for a massive gateway explosion. And speaking of Sky Toss, there it is. Stargate is in production. So this should be for a fleet beacon and for at least a mothership. As our players are being quite passive. So again, no reason not to take up. And maybe even start +1 air attack on the Cybercore. Here he's pushing. He's moving out with his main army. Let's threaten the ramp. Here, rotating over. And herO should be able to keep up with this. Should be able to keep up. There is that one Nova, though. Speaking of, Nova goes up. Ooh, decent connection. Gets a Ghost. A Ghost and a couple of Marines. Not bad. Takes out a Wood Mine. 4th base is now being taken. herO, he does get eyes on it. Observer's ready. He does spot the expansion. herO gonna try and deny him. Oh, brutal EMPs. But that one Nova. Nova goes off once again. Ooh, massive connection. Takes down at least 2 Ghosts. And the CC as well. Yeah, very nice trades here from herO. Maybe 1 Disruptor is all you need, I guess. Just now making a 2nd and 3rd. Doesn't quite get the Ghost. herO pulls away. But again, making 2 more Disruptors. +3 attack is almost done. herO once again poking in. He's got that Nova ready. The Nova is ready. Dives on the base. Nova goes up. Once the connections, they just keep going. He just can't miss. And I believe that's a kill on the cancel. Kill on the CC. Finally, the Disruptor is going to escape. Doesn't get punished. Doesn't go down. Those were brutal trades. And yeah, that was a kill in the CC. Twice now. There is no 4th. And herO, he's running out of money here, or he's running out of steam. Does need that 4th base. herO going for a counterattack or setting up a flank. Once again, the CC is denied. herO moving out. Does herO recall? Does he engage a portion of the army at a time? He's going to get surrounded. That was a brutal blink. The collapse comes in. Nova goes off. Good connection. Another Nova as well. The connections are solid. But here he's getting caught out, losing all of his Colossus. And here he should be overwhelmed. As Curie stems in, he cleans everything up. Zel's coming from behind, but too little too late. Too late at this point. Curie, he can kite well. herO, he plummets in supply, and that was just a really rough position to be in. Oh my god, the Novas! Nova pops off. herO, he's still in this. Still in this game. The army's overstimmed. He has to pick up. He has to get the hell out of here. herO sniping more Marauders. Catching more Marauders. Chasing him all the way back. herO bleeding out a lot of Marines. Being forced back to his mineral line. And herO, yeah, he does overwhelm. GG gets called despite the rough fight. He does break through, and herO takes a 2-0 lead. GG. Whew, oh my god. GG, well played from one player to the other. Again, herO did an amazing job denying the 4th base. Remember, he killed the 4th base twice, and he made sure that herO, he was just starved out. His herO, he was denied the economy. He just could not max out, could not maintain himself. herO had a much better fight towards the end. If you remember, he split up his army into 2 portions, and herO didn't realize. He blinked forward, and herO, he lost all his Stalkers. He lost all the Stalkers, the Colossus as well. herO took one of the worst fights he could have. He got punished for it, but again, herO had an economy, so he could rebuild. herO, he could warp in, he could reinforce, he could rebuild. Cure couldn't. So as the game progressed, as Cure was bleeding out more units, he could not replace them, and with that, herO takes a 2-0 lead. Oh my god. But a very tense game, especially towards the end, and that means that herO, he is one game away from making it to the grand finals. Cure, he has to fight back here and now. We know that he has it in him. He has it in him here to fight back against herO, but the pressure is on. As it is once again Cure's map of choice, we're loading into Whispers of Gold. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the red Terran player from South Korea representing Team Liquid. Down in the series, he has to fight back here and now. He needs your help, he needs your support. It is a Cure. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player from South Korea representing Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is herO. No mass, one game away from advancing on to the grand finals. Oh boy, here we go. Now, welcome one and all to Whispers of Gold. This is a much smaller map of the map pool, much more aggressive map as well. Unlike on other maps, the 3rd and 4th base are much more exposed here on Whispers of Gold, so aggression is favored. We haven't really seen too much aggression though out of Cure, even both in Game 1 and Game 2, very much so mid-game oriented here. Hasn't been too assertive, as opposed to Clem, who was just in Geralt's face almost unstoppable. It was crazy, especially in Game 2. We'll see how Cure adapts, as so far, economic start. Single gas opener, which means racks into a CC on the low ground. Cure just going for an economic start. Here we go. So far, we are just securing ourselves. From here, herO, I'm curious if he's willing to be a little bit greedy. We expect to see a Twilight Council opener just because it's a little bit safer to go 3-gate blink into a 3rd base. But we have seen herO throw caution to the wind, especially on El Dorado, if you recall, opening up Stargate. So that is going to be an option. We can see Curie scouts. He checks for the 3rd location, checks for a proxy, I should say, at the 3rd. Oh, hello. As Cure, he's going old school. He's going Marine first. No SCV Scout, no Reaper Scout. Marine first into a 2nd Rax, into a 3rd Rax as well. We're going for a 3 Rax. It's been a while. It's been a long time. Again, Cure, he was known for this. If you've been watching the channel for the past couple of years, you know back in 2020, you get scouted. Back in 2020, back in 2021, Cure would almost exclusively go 3 racks, almost exclusively here, especially on maps like Side Delta. Side Delta is what comes to mind. Just non-stop 3 raxes. And herO sees everything. He sees everything. He opens up Robo. Very safe opener out of herO. Very old school. This feels like we're back in 2022, actually. Okay, so a couple of things here. First things first, what is a 3 racks? Well, 3 racks is a stim timing. We're going to be building up a massive amount of Marines, massive amount of bio here, with tech labs, with stim and combat shield. So a very strong timing is going to be available here to Cure, and ideally you want to catch your opponent off guard. But as opposed to in previous times, in current meta, with the NG overcharge, Sentry openers are more standard, hallucinations are more standard, and herO sees everything. He sees everything. He knows that a stim timing is coming. How do you shut this down? Back in the day, some players used to just blindly open Robo into Bay, into Colossus. The Colossus completely shuts this down. So the Bay is on the way. We'll see if herO does go for a safety Immortal. He does not. He's going for a War Prism. This is more assertive. This is a way to keep Cure busy, to pick away at the Marines, pick away at the SCVs, and to keep Cure busy back at home while herO gets his Colossus. And once the first Colossus arrives, and what can this do? It's mass Marines, they melt against the Colossus. With good enough control, herO should be fine against this. So there's a reason why this build is very out of fashion. It's very out of meta, just because in current StarCraft, again, it's easier to scout, easier to respond, much more so than in previous patches. Thanks to the NG overcharge as well. So it is a bold move. This is not an all-in, but it is a committed style and a committed start. And speaking of, I mean, here comes the army, here comes the push. By the time Stim finishes, the army is going to be across the map. Now you can see herO being active. Where is the Prism is my concern. As it is War Prism first, and the Prism actually staying with the army, staying with the Colossus, and going for a Colossus drop. Okay. And how does this line up? It's going to be close. But the Colossus will pop out. Hallucination hits the main. And the Colossus needs to be at home to defend. herO, he's being too greedy. He's being far too greedy. He's moving out for harass. Meanwhile, here comes the army. And herO going for a fake Colossus. He goes for the fake Colossus. The scan reveals. He stims in. He knows it's fake. He knows it's fake. He dives in. Takes down the sentries. Shield battery does help. Cannon as well. And herO, he turns around. He's racing back home. He's like, oh. As Cura's found him out. He knows it's fake. Takes down the cannon. Probes are falling. And the Colossus does race back. Will shut this down. But this should have been a cleaner defense if only herO was back at home with the Colossus to begin with. If only. Instead, herO, he bleeds out the cannon, bleeds out a couple of workers. This is not the kind of defense he wanted. Now he's going for a counterattack, and now herO, he knows. He's ready for the Colossus, or at least he should be getting ready. The Vikings are amassing. There's the stim. Oh, third CC's on the way. Colossus going for a handful of Marines. I mean, trading somewhat well here, getting Marines, getting some SCVs as well. But the Vikings are about to pop out, and with the help of those Vikings, this is going to be shut down. The Prism is out of shields. Oh, he has to get out of here. He has to leave. Does have to leave. Vikings, they arrive, and they're going to shut this down. Massive pick off the Prism and the Colossus. herO, he flew too close to the sun. He got burned. And herO, he's back in this. He's back in this game. The initial stim timing was a little bit lackluster. He wanted to trade a little bit better here, but he does kill a Colossus. And with that, I mean, the third CC is almost done. We're back in this. We're back in this game. herO getting too excited. Behind this, going into more Colossus. Now Immortal production. Charge +1. Temple Archives on the way into our third base. So is Cure. So we have a game. We have a game. We can settle in. Here, moving out with another fake Prism. Oh. Does threaten another drop. It does force an overreaction. Not bad. Very successful hallucination here out of herO, as he did pull Cure off the mineral line. Meanwhile, herO just establishing his own third base, building up. I see in the chat, if you reveal hallucination, does it prevent the AI from targeting it? Only while it's revealed, yes. Only whether it's a revelation, whether it's a scan, whether it's an overseer. It will deprioritize the hallucination. So we are building up. Ghost Academy is on the way. Cure establishing his own third base, not too far behind the third of herO. So again, Cure, he's in a better economic position. He's up in SCVs, even on bases, and the pressure is on herO. The pressure is on. Does have a massive zealot run by. He has potential. Likewise, the Observer is spotting the main army, so herO, he knows when there's a move out. Ideally, when Cure pushes out, then herO moves in. So he's waiting with those zealots, waiting for that moment. Likewise, zealot run by the right-hand side. Trying to force a distraction. And Cure, he only responds with half his army. herO, he doesn't find the opening he was looking for. Moves out with his main army instead. A storm is done. And there's no EMPs. But this is a very risky move out of herO. He's looking for some storms. Spots the main army. Ghosts have arrived. Hero pushing in. He's got 2 Colossus. He's committed a decent storm. Zones away. Yeah, the storm is a melee zone. Nice spread out of Cure. Nice concave as well. And Curie stems in. Oh, but the storms, they just continue. Oh my, he stands in the storm. He stands in the storm. He gets 1 Colossus though. And Curie maintains himself. He does maintain himself. He's okay. Hero being forced back. Hero, he's not making probes. He's not taking a 4th base. Hero's all in. He's all in at this point. It's all or nothing. Takes down the bunker. Brutal EMP. EMP does connect once again as well. On the Immortals, on the Archon. Yeah, here he cannot fight this head on. He's going to try to do a Vikings. They shut down the Colossus. Hero dives in, reinforces with more Zealots. Kiting so far solid. Fury's kiting well. Vikings not really adding too much. Trying to force some friendly fire. Oh, trying to at least. But Curie holds. He holds, he shuts this down. He has a defensive advantage. We'll lose 18 SCVs in the process though. And Hero, can he still pull this up? Pulls the army out of position. Widowmines do borrow. Again, Hero's making this close. As another Colossus does arrive. Hero just trickling in. Alas, just barely didn't have enough. Cure holds. Whew, he does hold on. Now, killing 18 SCVs does mean that Hero, he's actually catching back up economically here. He has an economy, taking 2 gases. He needs a 4th expansion. Taking the triangular 3rd as a 4th. Prism into the main. Going for a storm drop. There's 2 High Templar. Here he hasn't spotted that turret. He has to be careful. He perks in. And here comes the storm. Actually towards the 3rd. Towards the mules. Again, that's a massive mule hammer. Storms into the mineral line. Massive connections. Getting 9 SCVs. 9 SCVs and a good chunk of mules as well. Not bad. Again, Hero doing everything he can to bounce back in this game. Hero is still, I would say, behind. As Cure is getting his 4th. The mules make up for his economic deficit or his worker deficit. We got more ghosts, more Vikings. Ooh, Vikings, they will deny the drop. And Curie is stabilizing. Just stabilizing here on 3 bases. Turrets being thrown down to protect his main. Planetary finishing up. Here he rotates towards the left hand side. Now there's no storm in this War Prism, it's only Zelton and Archon. So a little bit less potential to get damage done, but oh, gonna be reinforcing. Does go for the drop. And he can maybe get an SCV. He does abandon the Archon though. Ooh, oh my god, the shots are going off. Gets 2, gets 4. Archon goes down, brutal loss. At the same time, Zelta gets dropped off. War Prism into the main. Prism going to be hunted down. No, it's within range of the turret. Turret shuts him down. And Cure's holding. Cure, he does hold. Hero rotates up to 4 Colossus. Up against 7 Vikings. Storms once again, they zone. He does walk into the storm though. It's a lot of damage. And there's still soon to be 3 storms available. Depending on the EMPs. Match next. Does stack 2 of those storms. There's 1 storm left. Again, Hero, he has to be so careful with when and how he storms. Doesn't want to waste them. As they are limited. herO posturing. Curie is going to be the first to max. Storm zones away. Raises the army. herO getting into 7 High Templar. There's quite a lot to work with. They are spread out. First Colossus is getting caught. Oof. Storms are coming in. A High Templar, they stack. Oh, they do stack. Brutal connections. EMPs, they shut down the High Templar. Archons, they try to force their way through. But there's just not enough here. herO, he will lose everything. The Archons, the Colossus, the High Templar. Again, the EMPs were insane. Here, fighting back. Comes in with Zealots. Here, he's barely holding on. Okay. Zealots, they came in clutch. Colossus survived. herO still in this, taking a supply lead for the first time in quite some time. Up in supply. Getting a 5th. Coming with a storm. We get an okay connection. An okay storm. There's a tank behind this. Colossus getting a lot of hits in. Going for the middle line, diving on the main army. But a better spread here by Curie. Pulls the boys. The Colossus barely survives though. Barely does survive. More reinforcements coming in. No shot in herO. He's breaking through. Takes down the tank. The tank, the SCVs. 20 SCVs in the CC as well. Oh my god. herO. He does it. GG gets called. He breaks the expansion. And herO, he will take the series at 3-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. No shot. GG, well played. That was a rough game for herO as well. Like, herO, he was in dire straits, especially after the failed opener, with herO rushing into a Colossus drop, and of course, Curie, he called his bluff. He found out he was faking it. He had to race back home. He lost the first Colossus. That led into the initial engagement out of herO, where likewise, he didn't really come out, he came out worse for wear at the end of it. Remember, Curie, he was the first to max out. Curie had the better economy. But herO did a great job at clawing his way back into it. When it came to the storm drops, when it came to the counterattacks, even when it came to that center fight as well, we saw he was barely able to reinforce and to protect those Colossus. We saw one Colossus with like 5 HP towards the backline. Very, very close fight, very clutch, and herO, he takes it. Somehow, some way, does take it 3-0. GG. GG, well played. herO, he's going to be the first player to advance on to the grand finals. I do want to give some praise to Curie though, because even though this was a 3-0, we had some very close games. We had some very close matches. And Curie, he almost did make an extended series out of this. Almost. Barely not. Barely not. With that, GG, well played. Whew, that wraps up our first semifinals, and now we're getting ready for our second semis. Up next is going to be another TVP, but a very different one. We have Korea versus Europa. As up next, we have a rematch, Clem versus Zhao.